For our viewers, the chart 1387 just showing how the U.S. deficit has shrunk since the financial crisis, but still amounts to more than 2% of GDP. How difficult will it be for this year for congressmen to get other legislation through after adding so much to the deficit with the tax cuts?
It's going to be incredibly difficult. You just have to remember that we have not yet had a budget for the 2018 fiscal year, even though the year began on October 1st. We've been going through continuing resolutions since then because Democrats and Republicans can't come to the table and get on board with an agreement on spending. So if you can't even get a budget passed, think about how difficult it will be to get an infrastructure bill, to pass major legislation to advance the president's agenda. It's going to be very difficult, and part of it is because they did pass a tax cut last year. Not only did that sort of increase the polarization here in Washington, but it also made it difficult to make the numbers work when it comes to passing other major legislation. The tax bill was a $1.5 trillion measure that could increase the deficit, at least in the short term, and make it much more difficult to find the money to do big things like infrastructure going forward.
Toluse, everything we're hearing about tonight's State of the Union, and indeed the rest of the Trump term, if you like, is that it's going to be a bipartisan effort. It's going to be a reach across the aisle from the president. How do Democrats then respond beginning tonight?
Well, right now, we're not really hearing Democrats wanting to reach back across the aisle. We're hearing, for the most part, the resistance continuing to sort of flex its muscles. They realize that the president is below 40% on his approval ratings. They're getting closer to November. And right now, both sides seem to be going to their corners and getting ready for the battle, which is going to be the midterm election, where Democrats feel the wind is at their back and they have the ability to potentially take control of the House and maybe even the Senate. So right now, Democrats are looking to sort of push back against the president. They've rejected his olive branch in an immigration deal, saying that it's not something that they can get behind. Even the infrastructure package, something that the president believed could be bipartisan. For the most part, you're seeing a number of Democrats say that it's not good enough, that it's not enough of a investment in the country's infrastructure. And so you're seeing a lot of pushback from Democrats, not seeing many reach back across the aisle. The president isn't getting a lot of love from the other side right now.
Tolu, just quickly on the congressional agenda, what's next? Another stopgap bill?
Yes, they have until February 8th. That's when government funding runs out again, so they're probably going to need another short-term measure before they can come to a larger deal. They could even need two short-term measures. That's sort of the state of how broken things have become in Washington, potentially 6 months into the year without a full year spending bill.